Hello everyone, it is me, Butterfly Spirit, aka Michelle. The beginning of the video, I was kind of holding my breath because I'm waiting for my camera to kind of start. And if I start too early, then my camera might cut off what I say, but don't worry about it. Okay, so guys, today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking about me uncovering the negativity that I had through meditation. In the last video that I talked about with reference to meditation, I did a video called A Little Healing. And basically that talked about how I was able to gain some relief and, a sense of healing from getting over my anxiety, stress, and, bad emotions that came into me from external forces, like the media, like people and stuff like that, with regard to the election in 2016, where Donald Trump was elected. For me, as I said in that video, I was scared for my life after he became elected, and there's racist people saying that they would kill people that look like me and stuff like that, and, telling, people to, leave and go back to Africa, all that stuff. But if you want to know more about how meditation helped me to heal, you can go to that video. I have another video about me. I think I have another video on meditation and stuff too. This video, I'm going to get into talking to you about how I started to uncover my negativity that was going on. When I was meditating, and I started doing it regularly, and I got over the anxiety and the stress and the bad feelings from the election, and I discovered that things were okay. Then what happened was I was okay. I felt like life was good, and things were better, Nobody was going to try to hurt me or anything like that. And as I kept doing meditation regularly, so I would meditate 7 minutes per chakra, and in total, I'd meditate for 45 minutes. Then what I would do after it is, I would start to get more understanding every day. Every day of the week I would meditate. Monday through Sunday I'd meditate. I didn't give any reason why I didn't meditate and stuff, and I did this for months. So I started to notice at the beginning part of my meditation that there was negativity that was occurring. At first I just thought there was negativity that was inside that was coming from me. But there was negativity that was coming from external forces, like I said, with reference to the election and the bad things going on with that, the media and stuff, And so I want to talk about the internal negative feelings and then the external negative feelings. So the internal negative feelings, these had to do with me being anxious about just, me having thoughts in my head, thoughts with reference to the things that I worried about all day long. I would find myself worrying about trying to get a job. I find myself worrying a lot about, how people saw me and my family because I didn't have a job. And, everyone's insistence on me, getting this great corporate job and everything else like that, and being able to get it, and, not being lazy and stuff. And I also had negative feelings with reference to the past. See, what people don't know is that, how you have those past things that happen in your life, those interactions you've had with people, like arguments you've had with people, situations where people made you feel bad, made you feel sad, feelings of grief that you had, feelings where, you became sad sometimes for no reason at all, or you could have been sad or depressed because, of some other reason. Um, for me, I did have a lot of bad feelings that were going on and stuff like that inside of me, and I didn't realize that there was past like stuff inside of me that was affecting me in my well-being and stuff, and contributed to the stress. So there was two things that I did. First thing, I got curious about going and seeing if there was a meditation that would help me to get rid of this, these bad feelings on the inside, this negativity on the inside. And when I'm referring to negativity, I'm not just talking about anger. I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about a lot of bad feelings that you could have inside. Sadness, not feeling like you're good enough. I mean, grief. And grief, not necessarily because if somebody dies, but grief because something didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to. And so now you find yourself, worrying about how people see you and what's going on and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. When people, when you have people around you, sometimes you can have feelings rub off, which could be bad feelings that you could get. And you can get bad feelings if people are bullying you, like a lot of students that would be in all, age groups of schooling, can feel these types of feelings, even embarrassment, which could turn into anger or anxiety and stuff. And these bad feelings can drive people to do things, go to the extreme because they feel like nobody understands them, And so, I gotta say that, negativity can come at you from any way. It doesn't just mean that it's your feelings, and it's all about that. It's feelings that people may have caused you to internalize. And sometimes with bad feelings, we may not want to deal with it right away because we're not in a situation where, we can work through our feelings. Because in life, we have, some people have work, they have school, people have kids, people have, family members who they, help out on a regular basis, with reference to work, you have your coworkers, your boss, and you also have friends, who have certain expectations of you doing certain things. And, sometimes you have friends who are really supportive, and sometimes you have friends who are completely against you. I think friendship is a good thing to have. Friends are great to have around when they're uplifting and stuff. But you have some friends who will try to come and undermine you. And that can cause you pain, panic, and grief. And the pain could be internal, And that pain, like emotional pain, is you worrying and you stressing out. And for some people, it causes people to lose weight and stuff like that. Or whatever. Gain and lose weight, could be what stress can cause to happen to people. Me, I have, gained and lost weight as a result of stress and stuff like that. And that has happened to me. I've always been a small person, but, when I would gain a little bit of weight, which is not bad, and I still look like I'm the same size. But then because of undue stress from situations around me, then I would lose weight and stuff or whatever. So, internal stress and anxiety and feelings of anger, anguish, sadness, grief, any bad feeling, even nervousness, anxiety, those feelings need to be dealt with. That's very important. You can't just let yourself get all filled up with these negative emotions, because if you do and you never deal with it, these feelings are enough to drive some people to suicide. And, and when people are at suicide, that's not good, because they feel like they need to leave this world in order to feel some sense of peace. and stuff like that. But it doesn't mean that once they, commit suicide, that their soul is going to be at peace, because um, their soul is still going to have these negative emotions. And what a lot of people do not know is that there are lower vibrational entities and energies that do feed off of us as people when we are experiencing these emotional feelings, these bad feelings that we have, and they feed off of you. But, more of that bad energy, they just suck it off of you because you are their food, and those emotions, that's what gives them power and stuff like that, especially feelings like fear. That is something they feed off of a lot. And, with people watching, scary movies and stuff, and you get scared, that's an emotion that, those essentially demons feed off of. Lower vibrational entities would be demons, okay? And they do feed off of it, That's what you'll notice is that you ever get, angry or stressed out or whatever, and you get this wave of bad emotions that come over you, and then you start to feel tired, right? You start to feel tired because these are these entities feeding off of you. Now, you can't see them. If your third eye was open, yes, you'd be able to see them. But unfortunately, if your third eye is not open, you cannot see them, and you would have to, get to a spiritual level to a point where you can see them. There are people like, I was watching a Ryan Cropper video, and he said he saw a lower vibrational entity feeding off of another guy. And so he, his eye is open so he can see that. That's just, give you guys a little bit of an example, okay? And for those of you who don't know Ryan Cropper, he's an expert in astral projection and stuff like that. And, he's had a lot of, crazy experiences with reference to astral projection. And he's learned a lot of things as he's astral projected and stuff. And, dabbled in a lot of different types of, spirituality and stuff like that, or whatever, or metaphysics, or, whatever you want to call it, okay? Now let's talk about external stress. And I kind of touched on this quite a few times. External stress would be stress that you get coming from other people. Have you ever had this instance where, and sorry, my lips are dry. Have you ever had this instance where you go around a group of happy people, right? And you get happy. Sorry, I'm like baking. I'm baking some some fish right now. Let me go and get that real quick, and I'll be back in just a second. I hope I didn't leave you guys too long. Just had to get it out the oven because I did not want my fish that I was baking to burn. Okay. So, we were just talking about external stress. Okay, so I said that if you go around a group of happy people, you get happy, right? Well, places where you'd feel, happiness would be, for some people, it would be if they go to church. That's the most relevant place, I guess, example I think of in my head. When you go into church and you hear the music and stuff, and people are in a happy mood, and you get happy because you're there. That's a place where people would get happy. Another place where people would get happy and be at a higher vibration would be if you're at a comedy club and somebody's telling jokes and everybody's laughing, and then you become happy because everybody's laughing, And if you're just around a group of people who are happy, then you become happy. Another example of being happy would be if, let's say, you're the type of person and you're a part of basically a family where people, come together, everybody in your family comes together for a big Thanksgiving dinner or a big Christmas dinner. Well, Thanksgiving dinner, per se, you notice, do you notice that moment when you're sitting down and you're around your family and you are happy, and you're talking to cousins you haven't seen in a long time, you guys are catching up, and everybody's laughing, the older people laugh with the older people, the younger people are laughing with the younger people, everybody has food around them, you see this great spread of food, and you just have these really happy feelings, for Thanksgiving, or, example, Christmas dinner. So, if your family gets together for Christmas, yes, you have this big spread of food. Hopefully, you got this big spread of great food, that's similar to Thanksgiving. And, you know, for, the Christmas dinner, and there's like, you guys, go into like the living room, there's the Christmas tree, and the presents under the tree, and everybody has hot chocolate and cookies, and everybody's visiting old people, talking to old people, young people talking to young people, or some old people might be talking to young people, whatever. And you're hearing the old folks talk about, when they were younger and these funny stories. That's a point when you'd be happy and you'd be at a really high vibration, because you're happy. When you're at a higher vibration, when you're happy, your emotional state equals your vibration. I got taught this by my fiance, and he learned this from someone else's YouTube channel. I believe her name is Terra Nova, and she specifically talked about that. And I think that's pretty great that she did emphasize that, because it's not apparent that your vibration is your emotional state. There's people on YouTube who have, extensive experience with spirituality, but they don't talk about that. I guess because maybe it was something that they forgot to talk about, and that's okay. But I'm glad Terra Nova mentioned that, and I got made aware of it because my fiance saw it on her video. So, I think she's a good person to subscribe to, especially if you're trying to get into astral projection too. Ryan Cropper is a good source too for astral projection and stuff like that. Terra Nova, she's a bit new, but yeah, she's pretty good, and, she's really helpful and stuff, or whatever. And if I'm biting my lips because it's really cold outside and stuff, so I gotta put some Carmex on my lips so they're not so bothersome. So that's an example of good, energy coming to you, and you're around happy people, you become happy, Same thing at a concert. If you're at a concert, your favorite concert, you're seeing your favorite, singer, singing, and you're excited, and you're happy, you're seeing them in person, you're happy, and everybody around you is happy, and you are brought to the same vibration because all that happy energy is around you, okay? If everybody around you is happy, okay? Now, let's talk about the example of if you are around people who are negative. So, let's say you happen to come upon a group of people who are negative. People, a crowd of people, you happen to come in contact with them, and they're all angry. They're all mad. They're all depressed. They have these, they're all sad or whatever. An example of a place where you would see a big group of people being sad would be if you've ever attended a funeral. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've ever been to a funeral and you're hearing the music and you're seeing people crying, you cannot help but have your vibration brought down to that of sadness, especially if the person who has passed on was somebody who you really loved and cared about. You would be sad. Now, example of people being mad would be if people are at a protest. People tend to be angry at protests because they feel like, the cause that they're protesting for is, they feel that their voices are not being heard. And so you get people who are angry, and because they're angry, people go and they do stuff. They'll throw bricks, they'll, get in fights with people. Another example of people being angry would be if you've ever gone to a bar. I've never been to a bar or club or anything. That's probably a pretty big surprise for people. I never have. But if you go to a bar and there's a bunch of people in there who are angry and they're rowdy, then your emotions would go closer to what theirs is, and you may not be trying to take in that, that wave of negative energy, but it will impact you, and with some regard and stuff. Specifically, if somebody there starts arguing with you for no reason, or they attempt to try to fight you for no reason. Alrighty. See what else about that. So your environment, you can get good or bad energy from around you, and it may not have anything to do with you. Okay. So yeah, emotions can impact you from other people. If you get into an argument with somebody, let's say it's the best friend, you get into an argument with them or whatever, um, then that argument, you're going to feel anger because that other person's angry. You might have a friend who's jealous of you because you got to go on a vacation with your family, and that person, their family, doesn't have the ability to do that. So they're angry with you, and they're jealous of you, and they start, nitpicking at you and start trying to do things to you and stuff like that because they're upset. And then you get into an argument with them, and then you get filled with these bad emotions that become internal, and then they cause your friendship to break up. Um, or if you have an instance where you're, in a disagreement with your significant other, that could be something that can happen too. And it happens more time than one, because when you're in a relationship with somebody, then, you really love and care about that person. But when that person does something and you feel like they don't understand your feelings, you're going to get upset. You're going to get angry. You're going to be surprised. You're going to say, how dare they? I did this for them, that for them. And I was there for them and stuff. And those emotions of anger, sadness, grief, they're going to come up. And, those emotions can cause you to be anxious, and, it's not good for you to walk around with that type of emotion. Now, as I said in the past, different things in your past where you just internalized emotions without even realizing it, that can linger inside of your body for a long period of time. And it has to be dealt with. So, what I did when I had, negative, I noticed that I was anxious. I had negative energy, either anger because people don't understand me, whatever. And of course, I've been meditating. What I started to do was I was trying to look for a way through meditation that I can clear out my negative energy. So what I did was I started doing this meditation it was for negative energy, chaos, and it also cleaned my aura, and it got rid of energy blocks. Okay. Energy blocks would be things that are preventing you from moving forward in your spiritual path or in your life towards a specific type of, goal you're trying to achieve or whatever, because you're held back by this thing. One block for some people could be money, and that could be a big block because every time people face it, it could be just a bad experience. And, in order to get past that block, you have to work through it, okay? And, through that way, then you can, be better. And it can take time to clear blocks, okay? But they can be worked through. So I started doing a meditation for negativity. And I can comment that below if anybody wants me to tell you what meditation I did to clear out my negativity that I had. And at first when I started doing a meditation, I wasn't sure because it was like 15 minutes. And 15 minutes was a lot for one meditation. But I did it once, and then, I was like, okay, I didn't really feel anything at first. And then I started doing it. When I felt like I needed to. So I didn't do it every day. I did it, intermittently every so often when I felt like I needed to. This would be when, I got into an argument or disagreement, or I just, felt, like I had a lot of negative emotions inside and stuff. And the more, as I noticed I was doing the meditation, I noticed I started getting better. And I noticed, as I got further along with the negativity meditation, my emotions started to come out. Okay. They started to come out, and that if I know I have a lot of negativity or anxiety, or whatever, if, for example, I had been saddened about something, when I would do this meditation, I would start to cry. That's your emotions coming out. So my sadness was coming out. Anger, I wouldn't feel the anger coming out, but I knew it was coming out of me. And I knew it because by the end of the meditation, I would feel better than I did going into it. And so I knew it was working. And I would visualize as I'm doing meditation, I visualize the instances where I obtained this negative energy in this situation. And then I'd imagine it, the scene of it going, like it'll be like a square, like a little vision or whatever. Um, and I imagine it going up and out of the ceiling, and it just going up and out, and it going up into this golden light and leaving. And I even, as I do meditation, sometimes I imagine like the black energy going out and stuff. And sometimes I will, sometimes it would even be like in my mind, vision, I see like a negative entity coming out of my body, and not just one, but many, and sometimes they can get in and get attached to you because of those negative interactions. You may have gotten those negative entities because it may have come from, the person you was arguing with or the situation, and they might have just, start to attach themselves to you. But me seeing them leave means that, they're gone. And I further knew about me having negative energy because I got a reading done. I believe it was I got not a reading done. I'm sorry, not a reading. I got a crystal healing done. It's a crystal healing therapy that I got done by someone who was experienced crystal healer. And she basically, I went through a session with her, and I laid down, and then she put crystals on my chakras in different places where my body was asking for different crystals and stuff like that. And she just kind of listened to what it was that my body was saying based off the crystals it needed. And I needed a lot of crystals. And one of the most prevalent crystals that was put onto my body and stuff like that was black tourmaline. Now I wear, and I'll show it to you. I wear black tourmaline. Okay. Black tourmaline has been something that's, I was recommended by the crystal healer when I did a reading with her and stuff. And she recommended I get black tourmaline because it would help to transmute some of that negative energy and return it back to positive energy and stuff. And so, that it's been helpful. At first I had a stone of it. I had a black tourmaline stone, but I gave it away to somebody else who I felt needed it and stuff. But that was well on after I wasn't using it. So first I had a black tourmaline stone. It's about this big or whatever. Sorry, it's about this big or whatever. Trying to think of something that would be the size of my black tourmaline stone, but it was a pretty good size stone. It was like about this big, I guess you could say, or whatever. It's about that big, like this circle in my hand. It's like right here, going around. So it's about that big, And it was raw black tourmaline. And one thing I can tell you, I could tell that the crystal, black tourmaline crystal was working because the lady had me touch the black tourmaline or whatever and pick it up, and it felt smooth and stuff, and I felt comfortable holding it when I got my reading done. When I got my own black tourmaline and stuff, and I bought it I think it was like $50 when I bought it, the stone or whatever, the wild tourmaline. I could feel when I put it in my hands, I could feel it pulsing. And when you meditate and stuff, you start to get the feeling of crystals and stuff. That's what I started to get. And I can feel the vibrations of crystals that I have. Okay. The black tourmaline, I could feel it pulsing. So what that means was that it's sending vibration through my aura, and it is, basically taking out the dry negative energy out into the stone, and it's going to transmute it back or bring it back into me as positive energy. Okay. So that was something useful. But when I got my black tourmaline bracelet, I wear it all the time. And this is so that if I have any negative energy that comes in, or any negative energies that are going to try to come through, they do not have an effect on me, as much as, they used to. Okay. So I wear black tourmaline continuously all the time and stuff. And yes, through the negativity meditations, then I was getting better. And what I started to do is start thinking about where the sources of my negativity was coming from. Now, yes, I did have a crystal healing session where I, found out I got a crystal grid chart that showed all the crystals going down from the bottom of my head to the bottom of my feet. And yes, it was showing me that, yes, black tourmaline was heavily something that I needed and stuff like that. So I got my black tourmaline bracelet and stuff like that. I think it's great how big the stones are. See, these stones are a lot bigger than my other stones. So these black tourmalines are pretty big and stuff like that. I would like to get some bigger ones, but I think this one, and it has some weight to it, or whatever. But I've gotten comfortable wearing black tourmaline and stuff like that on me, and it's been pretty good. I've had to restring my black tourmaline bracelet and my other bracelets too, as I've had them and stuff like that. I can do a video on talking about how I restore my bracelets and stuff like that, and how I care for my bracelets and stuff, or whatever. Now, here's something I really want to say. If you wear bracelets like I do or whatever, I have my necklace, my jade necklace, but I took it off and stuff like that because I went to sleep. If you have crystals, it is important to clean them, because if you have negative energy, they will get into your crystals. And once you get a lot of energy into your crystals, then it will cause them to not work like they did. So I will do a video on talking about the effect that negative energy has on the crystals and stuff like that. Because the crystals do need to be brought back to good working order, or back to their highest vibration, so they can continue to help you and stuff. But yes, I did start to think about, the causes of my negativity and stuff like that. And my mind started to change. As you meditate, your mind starts to change and cause you to become aware of things that you were not aware of. Like, it tells you the truth about your relationships with people, and it brings you a view of learning about like how you react to things, how other people react to things, and it gets through meditation, it helps bring you to get a better picture of who you are as a person. So I know this has been like a long, lofty video. It's about almost 34 minutes. But this is kind of how I started working on my negativity and stuff like that. And, I notice now I'm better with negativity, and I'm less likely to, get into arguments or anything like that with people and stuff. I did add other stones, other bracelets that I started to wear to kind of calm me down, especially for anxiety and stuff. It's not solely just black tourmaline, but it's other bracelets that help with it too. I feel like you should get, stones according to what it is, like what type of symptom you have. If you have anxiety, you should get something for that. If you have a lot of negativity that's around you, stress, you should get black tourmaline. Whatever symptom you have, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or whatever, I feel like it's important for you to get a crystal, either necklace or a bracelet, especially if, you're the type of person that if you don't have it on you, you're going to lose it. But it is important to find out whether it's good for you to wear something continuously or not. And, your body will tell you if you respond well to crystals or not, depending on what it is and stuff like that. And definitely research them, because some crystals, although you think, okay, this is a good stone for me to use, like black obsidian is a great, grounding stone for me to use and help me draw out negativity. Well, the thing is that black obsidian is going to be something that is going, yes, it's going to ground you, but it's going to bring things to the surface for you. Bring those emotions up, and maybe you might not be prepared to work with that. Black tourmaline is a lot better to me of a grounding stone, with reference to helping to transmute your energy without making you bring things to the surface that you don't want brought up yet. It's something that helps you work, work to figure things out. Another thing that I would say too is to have a clear quartz bracelet. Clear quartz is really good because it's a stone, and I have a clear quartz bracelet. I'll take it off real quick. I'm having trouble because my amethyst is getting in the way. So this is my clear quartz bracelet. I've had to restring these several times. I think like three times this is broke. My other ones have not broken and stuff. Okay. Clear quartz is really good if you're going to be working on opening your third eye. Now hold it up again. It's really good for if you're going to be opening your third eye and you want to make sure you open it slowly and not all of a sudden be, getting into things, on a psychic scale, intuitive scale, where you're not ready for it. So the clear quartz helps you to come into your psychic gifts, or whatever realizations you're going to have peacefully. And I think this is what helps my tourmaline too, with things, because it's letting me become aware of things slowly. And this is what clear quartz does. Clear quartz is a powerful stone. That's why I say you want to get smaller ones. The bigger the quartz, the more powerful it's going to be. It's kind of like amethyst, and amethyst is also quartz, which I'll show you amethyst. Amethyst is also pretty powerful. It is like a purple stone. Amethyst is particularly a third eye. It's a third eye chakra and a crown chakra stone. Okay. So, those, amethyst is a stone I feel like you have to work up to, okay? Very important to work up to that stone. Don't just jump into using amethyst, because it might take you somewhere where you're not ready. And also a stone that I've heard is, going to take you somewhere where you're not ready for yet is lapis lazuli. That's something you have to work up to as well, okay? There are stronger stones, which are not necessarily beginner stones for people, more, stones that I would say you can work with, amethyst or more powerful like third eye stones and stuff like that when you're ready. After you've been meditating for a while, after you're ready to do it and you feel consciously ready to open your third eye, okay? So yeah, so I shared a little bit about how I uncovered my negativity through meditation, and I talked a lot about being in a higher vibration where you're happy, laughing, and everything, and being in a lower vibration where you're sad, you're got grief, anxiety, and different stuff like that. If you struggle with anxiety, a good stone for you to get will be lepidolite. You can get lepidolite in a bracelet, and I'll show you lepidolite too. So this is my lepidolite bracelet. This is for anxiety, and it helps me to reduce my anxiety that I have and stuff like that. That way it takes care of the anxiety, and black tourmaline takes away the negative emotions and stuff like that too. So they're both kind of tag teaming and helping. Okay. All right, guys. So this video is pretty long, about 40 minutes. But thank you guys for watching this video on me uncovering my negativity with meditation. This has been Butterfly Spirit, aka Michelle. See you guys in another video about either my spiritual journey or my spiritual path, or about a lesson about something or whatever. And I know in this video I mentioned my crystal healings that I've had, but I also had like a mini Reiki healing, so I'll do videos on that too, to talk to you guys about that too. Okay, so see you guys in another video. Bye bye.